Brian, kamusta?
Hello po. Buhay pa naman.
Mga kalamay nagkakape kami uli ni best friend Brian kasi nga di na namin papatagalin yung napag-isipan namin.
Yes.
Napag-isipan ba natin?
Tuloy-tuloy agad.
Pinag-isipan ba natin? Parang hindi na tayo nag-isip, no? Parang
Diretso agad.
easy flowing lang. Oo, talagang nag-flow lang Parang let the love flow, sabi. Muli, nandito tayo sa ating tambayang may programa, mga best friend, TTPM Act, our advocacy channel. Kasama natin ang ating best friend Brian Borutta.
Hello po.
Ayan, ng Bipolaroid Film Fund, based in the Philippines, but now is reaching out here in Germany. At alam niyo naman na si Brian ay hindi 100% Pinoy dahil siya ay may dugong Aleman. Pero kita nyo naman
sadyang malakas
ang
lang
pagmamahal
ng Pilipino.
Yes, ang pagmamahal sa sariling wika ay nananalaytay pa rin.
Grabe.
Kay best friend Brian. Ayan. And it's coffee time again, mga best friend. Coffee with BesfrenTofi. Tawagin na natin isang master writer. Yeah? Bakit master? Because he wrote the book, a very successful book, Fate of a Distant Future. Baliktad no? Pero okay lang yan. Talagang baliktad ang utak namin. Pasensya na kayo, mga best friend. Kilala na ng lahat to, ng ating mga best friend dito. Very successful sa kanyang participate sa Hong Kong Book Festival, no? Sold out, best friend Brian.
Wow.
And also, ngayon meron siyang pwedeng i-promote pa rin na another supplemental book, no? Yung Look to the South. Tawagin na natin the master writer, best friend Renato Tranquilino. Hello.
Hello.
Ayun pala yan.
Hello. Yeah, I couldn't join you guys for coffee kasi otherwise I'll be up all night. Like,
It's okay. Imaginary coffee will do, you know. Pero kaya ako nga tinawag na master writer kasi yung pag-write niya ng book, no? It's parang easy to read.
Like I did it that way kasi 'di ba nawala like ang we're doing this in English, right? Okay. Tagalog. Are we doing this in English or Tagalog?
English, Tagalog, English, so, Chinese pwede rin.
Hindi ko kaya yun. French a little bit. Di ba nawala yung parang sci-fi sa mainstream natin in if you can recall back in the 70s dahil di ba kalo-launch yung moon missions ng US, so patok na patok ang mga sci-fi noon. 70s right up to the 80s, tapos nung na-stop na yun biglang nawala, like naging parang underground siya. And so what happened is since then, like wala nang pang-push, parang ang sci-fi napunta na sa drama, politiko, yung kung ano, entertainment. So ang ginagawa ko is like, okay, so if it's been out of people's minds for 50 years, you know, about a little over 50 years, you can't just expect them na hindi nila kagad magigets yun kasi nawala na yung yung imagination, kumbaga, like in terms of how you would relate, especially Philippine sci-fi, alam mo naman dito sa atin, pagka sinabi mong Pinoy parang ang tingin nila mababa, low quality. Okay, so
third world country kasi.
So which means third world everything, which is not really the case, maraming magagaling na writers dito. So how would you bring that out into the open? So ang ginawa ko is yung book na yan, like nilagyan ko siya ng pictures at saka ginawa kong madali siyang intindihin, which is the big criticism sa akin ng mga advanced sci-fi writers. Bakit ba't ganyan ka magsalita dyan? Like, ba't ganyan? Hindi mo pinaganda yung words mo. Like, you should have made it more succinct, like use less words and And ang
Yes.
iniisip ko naman, it's like, why would I do that when I'm trying to appeal to the masa, you know?
Oo.
Like, if,
Di lalong hindi babasahin.
yeah,
Ganun.
kasi masyadong nakaka-nosebleed you know?
Oo, tsaka every time meron kang word na hindi maintindihan, Google mo.
Oo. Nako. Yeah, when I started reading sci-fi, nagkamali ako, nag-start ako kay Asimov. Nako,
Ooh, wow.
nakakahilo
Yes.
siya. Like
Hindi
I
siya
had
pang
to like
beginner.
stop. No, I had to stop. So I had to do it in stages and pick other kinds of sci-fi. And also like Lord of the Rings, sinubulan ko yon. Like ang hirap. Like
Yes.
really, when you're like 15, 16 years old and you're trying to get into like no, I started at 14. So when you're 14 and you're trying to read these books, it's just excuse French. It's just like horrible. It's like mind numbing, you know.
Yeah.
May isa pa dyan, yung The Magician. The Magician's makapal din yun. It's called the Rift War Saga. The Rift War Saga. Now, ang ito gaano ka-unique ito, no? So, alam natin na parating nag-aaway ang elves, humans, dwarves, and trolls, and di ba, magkakalaban yun, di ba? Humans even. Pero ang ginawa nitong si Raymond is like pinagbati-bati niya yung mga
Pinagbati.
Oo.
Parang batibot, ganun.
Yeah, pero there's a big but. The reason why nagkabati-bati sila is dahil may kalaban sila. Yung kalaban nila is like parang samurai, pero insects. Kasi yung Rift War is about yung itong aliens pumasok dito sa dominion ng Middle Earth. Tapos pinapatay lahat, walang pake. Like pinapatay nila lahat yung alien, pinapatay niya kahit sino. Like find it and read it, The Rift War. EFT, you're a bit of an action man. Ang i-recommend ko sa iyo is Ice Station by Matthew Riley. Ice Station write it down. Ice Station by Matthew Riley. That book has been bought by Steven Spielberg. Yan, tama. The rights to
What
it.
do you mean bought? The rights?
They got the rights to
the whole
it.
thing.
It's gonna be made into a movie. It's been bought like 10 years ago. Okay? Ganito katagal bago maggawa ng movie si Steven.
Yes.
Oh, you know, Hollywood is like that.
Yeah.
But this book, I mean, when I read it, I couldn't put it down for 3 days. Like mga 400 pages siya, pero I couldn't put it down. As in, kakain ako, tutulog, gigising, that's on my, like, that I was reading that. And it was a holiday. I took a holiday, like, just to read that.
Nabasa mo na rin ba yun, Brian?
Not yet, but it sounded familiar, pero nasa list ko na siya.
Nga pala, best friend, na-introduce ko na ba sa'yo formally si Brian? He's our friend from Bipolaroid Film Fund.
I saw him, yeah. It's a pleasure to meet you, Brian. Like,
Hi,
finally.
nice to meet you, sir.
Yes, and you know Renato naman, best friend Brian, di ba?
Yes.
He's the author of the book. And then
Master author.
No, not yet, no.
Actually, super excited ako to meet kasi I don't know if BesfrenTofi told you, but I have a background in literature. So actually did a master's in comparative lit. Almost finished working on my thesis. Nagturo din ako ng literature sa college level. So like super amazing din na makamit ng...
At hindi lang yan. Pareho kayong extraterrestrial. IT.
Yes,
IT, yeah.
ET
Interstellar terrestrial.
ET. Pag sa German kasi, babasahin mo yun.
ET. Yeah.
ET. Oh, the ET.
Fair enough.
So magkakaintindihan kayo. Ako naman, Mascot.
Ikaw yung
Bakit
I'm pogi na
director.
mascot?
You're an executive producer namin.
Yeah.
Mascot.
Oo.
Pwede parang pangmasa. Mas cute kasi yun eh.
Yun na yun.
Grabe. Ano ba tong karir na to?
Basta i-secure mo i-secure mo yung mukha mo tsaka yung voice mo because
Oo
ang
nga, sabi mo
AI.
nga about AI.
Huwag ibigay sa AI.
Oo, wag ibigay sa AI yan.
Guten Tag! Ako po ang inyong Consul General dito sa Frankfurt, Marie Yvette Banzon Abalos. Tayo ay nandito po ngayon sa tambayang may programa para sa mga Filipino at Filipino-Germans, TTPM Act, our advocacy channel. Tara, OL na tayo!
Nandiyan na pala kayo mga best friend. Di ba lahat bago na eh.
Oo.
Huwag tayo pumunta dyan.
Politics mo. Mamaya na yan. Another podcast. Pwede mo ako tawagan sa politics.
Ito pa rin tayo sa ating coffee time. Yan, yung sponsor natin ngayon. Saan si Best Friend Ren. Yan, sponsor ni Ren.
Nandito pa rin tayo sa ating tambayang may programa.
TTPM Act.
Our advocacy channel.
Oh, napabangoy kape?
Napabangoy kape?
May kape pa ba kayo?
Tuloy na natin ang coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Ituloy na natin ang Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Coffee with BesfrenTofi with me.
Padayon sa tapangape. Naapa si BesfrenTofi, oh. BesfrenTofi, hello!
Alam mo, dapat maintindihan ng mga masa yung about royalty eh. Kasi, syempre, alam mo na, di ba?
Magiging big thing yun.
Yung order kasi sa internet, nakokontrol yan ng movement ng masa eh. Pagka lahat yan, alam mo yun?
Hindi, sa Germany, sa Europe, maganda ang European rights ng filmmaking.
Yes.
Oo. Kaya if you create a movie there, guaranteed yung royalties ng mga tao. Hindi katulad sa States. Sa States, anything goes eh. Kaya nga nagwawala yung mga tao dun eh. Like, which is not right.
That's one point of getting together ngayon. Kasi, yun nga, kung ano bang pwede nating magawa about the vision of Ren. Kasi, di ba sabi mo, gusto mo to produce a film or ano tong Fate of a Distant Future?
Yeah, I think the main thing is we have to look at like sino ang audience natin, who are you trying to please? And the second thing is the national pride. Remember, there has never been a sci-fi film done in the way like Hollywood level. Okay, no one has ever funded that. No one wanted to because they think it's so expensive. And then what has been happening in the Philippines is anybody that tries to do something nice just doesn't have the budget, and so it comes off really crap. And so what happens is then the Filipinos, not that you can blame them, they have very high expectations that are not being met. And of course, if it's not being met, they're gonna be pissed off. It's like they're gonna ask the question, we're in 2023, why are you giving us this crap? Or even back in the 1990s, in the 2000s, why are you giving us this crap? I mean, everyone else is watching it in HD and all this sort of sound effects. Why are we not getting that?
And just to add, actually, like you said, na parang may gustong gumawa, and then it's just the budget because there's I think it was 2020 or 2019. There was a film in Cinemalaya that tried to be sci-fi, so futuristic with robots, droids, and like stuff. Pero talagang ang ganda ng plano, but it really kinulang sa budget. So it really didn't, it had so much ambition. It really tried to be something, to say something about sci-fi in the Philippines. Pero kinulang kasi ang budget lang naman usually nang binibigay ng Cinemalaya is 1 million. It's nothing compared to
that's
like
pesos.
Yes, it's nothing. It's $20,000. It's $20,000. €20,000. It's nothing, and
like
it failed. So I will be honest. It was not a good movie, but we can see na parang ano yung gusto nilang, kung ano sana ambition nila.
Parang Star Wars noon, di ba? Star Wars, kung papanoorin mo yung first release nila, compared dito sa matatawa ka di ba?
But even then, it was quite revolutionary kasi a lot of effort went into making that. And also, blood, sweat, and tears ni Lucas yun. Dahil nga walang magbigay sa kanya ng pera, he had to fund most of it. So he had to beg, borrow, and steal from everyone just to get it made. If we have to do something like that, I think that's the kind of level of dedication that we need to do.
In your perspective, no? Bakit nagiging ba't napakamahal? Ibig sabihin, is there any way that we can cut off some expenses, like streamlined, like baka meron naman tayong mga kaibigan somewhere out there beneath the pale moonlight, alam mo yun, na maraming Pilipinong magagaling.
There's no problem with like skills. I mean, I've tested it here. I shot a film here, so we have the equipment, we have the people. I've worked with a guy who's like June Valencia, June L Valencia. He's the best of the best sound engineers here. He's so good that even Americans use his services. Okay, so he's dying for me to do a sci-fi. Pero you asked about why it's expensive. I mean, I'm sure Brian can answer this, but your sets, your green screens, okay, your lighting, the special effects, the costumes. I mean, just on those, like you're already spending almost $1 million just to get it started. Dollars. Now that might be 1.5 million. What is it? It would be like, say, $1.5 million. What is it? Like less than 800 or 900,000 euros. Okay, so if you're doing it in euros,
if you're going to set the studio where you will film the
no, this is just your costume, where you're gonna shoot, like, and don't forget they're charging per hour, to these massive green screens. Okay. Now, I said, like, maybe it's good to shoot it in the Philippines because we can take advantage of the lower labor costs and build sets, not green screens, but actual sets. And then shoot it there, and shoot it on the set, and then we minimize the use of green screens kasi walang masyadong malaking studios dito. There was one, Bigfoot Studios in Mactan, but that got blown away by the storm. Yeah, I think it was flattened, and it was one of the best studios we had for green screen. Sayang, very much sayang, because I was ready to use that, like, to try and see how much it would cost to do a mock-up of one of the stories in Fate of a Distant Future. So what are we left with? So again, we have to either shoot in a foreign land, or either in Europe or in the US. We can do the B-rolls of yung background shots sa Philippines. So you can do that. Any camera that you want is here. Ang problema lang is, like, yun nga, yung if you're gonna do the special effects, like, patay ka, like, kasi wala dito. So,
well, just to butt in lang din.
Right.
So one of the lang is yung sa VFX now, like you said, it's super hard to get like really competent people that have a background in working this. But actually, recently was the Voltes 5. I don't know if you saw the
Yeah.
remake ng Voltes 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Diba they shot it in the Philippines and it's parang collaboration siya with the Japanese studio.
Japanese
Kaya medyo high class ang ano. But there are a lot of VFX artists kasi recently, actually this year lang, sa film ng Cinemalaya, which was the One Without a Mouth, completely animated siya. So rotoscope animations, and then yung director known as with a background in VFX. And he also said in a Q&A na talagang he tries to push forward the VFX industry in the Philippines na kasi kaya naman natin gumawa ng films na maganda ang kwento, maganda ang acting, maganda ang writing. And then now maybe we should expand into, like you said, now green screen and like dagang props ang pag-apply sa sci-fi films. So I don't know. I'm hopeful na maybe in the next few years actually like your film would be possible to shoot in the Philippines na kaya natin siya. It's just talagang again sa funding tayo magiging magkakaproblema.
Funding, I mean, also like I think the problem with films na ginagawa sa Pinas is a lot of their money goes into production, pero not enough goes into marketing. Okay? Marketing, is so important. Okay, here's the thing, it's like it might be good for the Philippine market. Like say, let's take animation. We were great at doing animation, but have we looked at how well it would work in other countries, like in terms of like selling it, like getting back your, getting a return on investment on what you spent? What are they looking for in the world? A lot of people now are looking for live action. I mean, yes, there's manga, yes, there's animation, but it's a very small market compared to what live action like does. And there's money in it. And I mean, I'm gonna announce it here. Sayang wala pa si Cindy, but we now have a connection live from BFT. Now we have a connection directly with the Latino market in the US and South America. We just managed to stitch up that deal with someone over there. So whenever we release a press release, it goes out, gets translated to Spanish, and then it goes to them. So I have, like, just with this book, I have the Latino market and I have the Philippine market.
All right.
Okay, so if I want to get funding, I can say to the funders, I have this market of probably about 1 billion people. Okay, that's not even counting like Southeast Asia. And they're ready. The response with regards to Philippine sci-fi is it's fresh, it's great. So, it's a case of how much do you need, and so this is where like something like a company like Bipolaroid like will come in and actually say, okay, like we're a team, so this is how much we need. This is what we need for marketing, blah blah blah, and we don't compromise on the quality. That's where I'm coming from. It's like we're not just marketing for the Philippines. I mean, yes, it's a national pride thing. And I explained this to the guy, to my clothing sponsor who's like organizing all this. And I said, if I can do this in the Philippines, I can help you do this in Latin America. And they're dying for something similar. So I said to him, if you can cooperate with me and we can pull this off, it's like sky's the limit. But again, funding. Like, what are the funders looking for? And it's usually the return on investment. So what's the return on investment on about 1 billion people? Like, even if you get like, say, 10% or 20%, 10% of people watching the movie because it's a national pride thing. I mean, like, there's money there.
And
exactly.
I'll be honest. The quality of films recently na pinapakita sa bigger things. I think it ties in with what you said about marketing, because in the Philippines there's no need for marketing because ang leading actors is this guy and this woman, and then kilala na sila. Okay, they have a new film. No need for marketing. People will watch it because it's them. And then that falls down the quality of films na ginagawa nila because they have the faces that they need.
That's okay if they do that. The problem is, are they marketing it to the world? You know, they're happy to earn in pesos. I'm not looking at. I don't want my funders to earn in pesos. I want them to
Yeah.
earn in dollars or in euros. And I'm talking like hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not interested in earning 1 or 2 million just because I'm not bragging here. It's because this is business.
Yeah.
If you want to keep making films in the future, it has to be a global thing. And we're 110 million people, and why are we just like doing
Yeah.
films just for us? It's like that should be marketed globally. Like, look at what Korea does.
Actually, that's one of the things na that Bipolaroid is trying. Kasi there are so many good films na talagang worth showing to everybody. Syempre limited kasi it's in Filipino and then it's just subtitled in English. So that's what we're trying to do now. We talk to the directors and the producers and say, hey, we're holding events in Germany and Europe. We'd love to show your films, of course, to make money for the fund and, of course, for the filmmakers themselves. So may bayad sila, may percentage sila sa tickets. And it's a very small way compared sa like cinemas everywhere with showings. Pero parang for now kasi it's the only avenue that these kinds of films have. So we don't really have access to, let's say, the heads of Cinemax and tell them, okay, you have this Filipino film, that's an amazing film. Please show it in your cinemas where Westerners can buy tickets and watch it, because they won't. At least for now,
no,
they won't.
No. It has to be something sexy. There has to be something sexy to look at, something exciting. Not this wooden like acting. This guy says something, then she responds, and it's like, think the way Star Trek was done, the way it is in the movies is very organic. It's like lots of interaction like everywhere. So that's the kind of stuff that we should be doing. Like that's what the Filipinos expect. And I'm all for that. It's like, give the public what they want, and in return, it's like, if we give them what they want, you've got like 100. Even if you get like 60 million people watching your movies, they will go to the movies to watch. Even if it's like cost 300 pesos or 400 pesos to watch. If you give them the right movie, they will go.
Especially yung mga fan ng, halimbawa, fan. You have a fan base, no? So, kung maipupush ng maigi, no?
Yeah.
Yung pagmamarket ng book, and it's translated now sa Spanish, English. Are you planning also to translate it in Tagalog, so more people in the Philippines can relate?
Probably, probably Bisaya. Like we were toying with that idea.
Sa South, no?
And then in terms of Spanish, translating it to Spanish, I'm about to have a conversation with the with the radio station owners in Latin America, and I need to connect them with Cindy, because that's gonna be like buying the rights so that they can then mass produce it over there. So that's gonna be in place. So this is like, what we're trying to do is have that connection between Latin America and Manila in terms of producing like quality films. And we're starting off, and I said I'd like to start off with sci-fi, Philippine science fiction, and so we can have people from South America be like big stars there with our big stars here, and then have it in an environment where they're both interacting, and it's pleasant to see, So that's how I see the future of cinemas, like happening for the Philippines, like especially when it comes to sci-fi. And how much is that going to cost? I mean, people would ask always. It could be anywhere from $15 to $20 million. So
it's a lot of money.
You need to approach a lot of people.
Guten Tag! Ako po ang inyong Consul General dito sa Frankfurt, Marie Yvette Banzon Abalos. Tayo ay nandito po ngayon sa tambayang may programa para sa mga Filipino at Filipino-Germans, TTPM Act, our advocacy channel. Tara, OL na tayo!
Oh, nandiyan na pala kayo mga best friend. Di ba lahat bago na eh.
Oo.
Huwag tayo pumunta dyan.
Politics mo. Mamaya rin. Another podcast. Pwede mo ako tawagan sa politics.
Ito pa rin tayo sa ating coffee time. Yan, yung sponsor natin yan. Kung saan si best friend Ren. Yan, sponsor ni Ren.
Nandito pa rin tayo sa ating tambayang may programa.
TTPM Act.
Our advocacy channel.
Oh, napabangoy kape?
Napabangoy kape? May kape pa ba kayo?
Tuloy na natin ang Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Ituloy na natin ang Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Coffee with BesfrenTofi with me.
Padayon sa tapangapi. Naapa si BesfrenTofi, oh. BesfrenTofi, hello!
Interesting by being interested. Ang loaded naman ng question mo, sir. This is also something that you see everywhere in the world. The moment you're away from your home country, that's where you want more of your home country, di ba? Medyo nami-miss natin ang pagkain, nami-miss natin yung mentality, and then we gravitate towards something that will, keep us remembering our culture and our heritage. At doon ako napadpad sa pagtuturo ng Tagalog. And I think if you have that, if you can show people, okay, you speak, but let me show you why it is so beautiful, doon nila ma-appreciate.
Maybe we can come up with programs also para pag dumami kasi yung may idea about the book or yung fan base ng book, it might be a promise to the investors also. We have this book, blah blah blah, and this is in the Philippines we sold something like that, blah blah blah, blah blah.
This is where you get into catch-22 situation. I've heard that the trend now is you have to create a teaser, say 1 or 2 minutes of high impact, like of trailer. Like for instance, if say Brian and I can collaborate on a trailer, and then I have actors that are ready to jump in on this. I have the sound guy, so I don't mind flying to Frankfurt and overseeing this. We have AI. We can generate a freaking script within 5 minutes of any of the 4 that you want. The reason I want to give that opportunity, I want to give that opportunity to the studio to be able to create that script, because I want to give them the artistic license to do that trailer.
That's actually what you're saying is a lot of studios when they take from writers or parang medyo bago pa yung kwento, hindi pa alam and stuff, they try to ask for concept films. So short concept films. Kuwari, gusto kong gumawa ng horror. And may concept ako na kuwari, ito ang monster, ito yung kalaban. I will create a short film about this specific concept just to show na okay, it's viable, it's something that we can do or something we can lengthen into a feature film. So the good thing with your book is, like I've seen, it's a collection of short stories, right? So which makes it easier than to make a concept film about that, kasi it's literally made na into shorter formats. So hindi siya kailangan even i-lengthen into a feature film, kundi it's a anthology. So I would love to work with you on this.
Sure. Yeah.
So
no worries.
And claps.
So actually, just for content background, so I'm pre-production of a film right now, actually, for December. So I'm shooting a film in December in the Philippines kasi uuwi ako. Which is actually also just, hindi siya yung main project. Actually, gagawin ko yung film na yan just as a pitch to Q Cinema. So some March kasi may pitching ang Q Cinema for also short films. And the one I'm pitching is talagang yung gusto kong magawa. It's a sci-fi film, actually. It's about, the title is Ang Huling Magsasaka ng Nueva Ecija. So it's about a farmer in the Philippines who works. He's the last farmer in the Philippines. Tapos napapalibot siya ng mga drones and machines who work the fields. So so super
Very nice
coincidence.
Very nice. So when you come here, let me know, and then we can meet up and and then start planning. So I don't have a problem like flying in and out of where you are. So if you need me to go there, I mean, like this is like all my chips are on. All my chips are on this. So this is it.
Yes, and also update Miss Hayes sa kanyang what's ganap. We can always be updated yung mga best friend natin sa isang segment na program dito sa ating Tambay May Programa TTPM Act. At sundan natin what's ganap dito sa ating di ba, pinag-uusapan. And it's very, very exciting.
Yeah,
diba?
man.
Nagkape lang kami. Dami nang nangyari. Diba? Mangyayari. With God's help. Diba?
Yeah, Suprado is really looking forward to this.
Suprado. Ayan, oh.
I actually saw her, what's it called? Her parang her short introduction in your book. Kasi super small world, because actually Suprado is one of the actresses in one of our shorts na tinulungan namin, and like, oh wow, small world. Like she's in one of the films na sinuportahan namin, and it's like it's nice to see.
I'd like to see her in an action film, actually, like that. I think that it could. I know that's another thing. BFT, you're asking about like why it's expensive. See, sa Philippines, pagkasikat ka na, go na. Like, go na. Like, ito yung script mo. Ito, memorize this.
Arte na.
Pagka gumawa tayo ng sci-fi, si Suprado, maaaring pag-aralin ko yan ng arnis, martial arts, a bit of acrobatics. Like, hindi pa kasama dun yung acting. Tapos, pagka yung acting na, meron pang development process yan. Hindi lang, you have to do the way, you have to envisage this character, and you have to talk and act the way, envision the way this character is. Make this character be like what's in my head. You know? So,
yes.
Kasi yung production, hindi lang siya mag-start on the day of the shoot. Like, for the project that I said with Suprado, actually parang 3 weeks before, kasi the language was in Visayan. So they had a course, like talaga nag-aral sila for 3 weeks to pronounce the words properly, the diction, the inflection, lahat.
Parang A1, A2, A3, ganun.
Oo, like talagang pati yung film na I'm planning with the farmer, kasi it's sign language. So yung actors before nun, I will have them learn talaga na, okay, ito yung kailangan yung skills. It's Filipino sign language. You have to have a konting background kung ano yun. Ikaw, kakabisaduhin yung script and how to do it, pero maganda dapat may background na rin sila sa character, kumbaga.
And it's very important, like yung preparation na ganyan, which and in sci-fi, of course, because you're doing it in green screen, yung mga special effects, sometimes you can only shoot it once. Kasi pag ginawa mo yun twice, 3 times, it becomes really expensive, you know.
So this will be a great collaboration.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
yes.
hopefully, yeah.
Parang, ano to, Pinoy invasion ba to?
Parang tinatayo natin
So
sarili
calling all,
bandera.
kumbaga calling all sci-fi, ano, di ba? Sci-fi fanatic.
And there's a like recent, talagang recent lang kasi there's nung literature ano pa ako. One of the books that I had my students read is Xerox. So it's also a small, yeah, like it's also medyo sci-fi focused na. And then si Hontiveros, I think he's David Hontiveros was as the author, and so I love these kinds of books. I've also read recently yung Ministry for the Future, so medyo climate future fiction na siya, and so I think sobrang perfect to sa Philippines, like so sci-fi, like looking forward to the future kasi medyo dark naman talaga ang past ng Philippines. Yun, like futuristic stories are going to be a big part of Philippine culture.
One thing that Pinoy seem to like is Black Mirror. And marami ako nabenta na books. Like when I said, like my book is written just like Black Mirror.
Nice.
And another thing is like, remember Quentin Tarantino back in the early 90s? He used to shoot Roadhouse films. Yung bang iba't ibang films in one, like different films in one.
Anthologies.
Anthologies, like that was something that I had in mind. I don't know if how well that would be received, but you have the 4 stories. I just don't know whether we can do.
Are they connected in one way, like loosely? So they are references to each other, ganon.
Yeah,
okay.
they kind of yeah. There are things in there that will say like, oh yeah, so that's the future.
Like yeah.
Guten Tag! Ako po ang inyong Consul General dito sa Frankfurt, Marie-Yvette Banzon Abalos. Tayo ay nandito po ngayon sa tambayang may programa para sa mga Filipino at Filipino-Germans, TTPM Act, our advocacy channel. Tara, OL na tayo!
Nandiyan na pala kayo mga best friend. Di ba lahat bago na eh. Huwag tayo pumunta dyan.
Politics mo. Mamaya rin. Another podcast. Pwede mo ako tawagan sa politics.
Ito pa rin tayo sa ating coffee time. Yan, yung sponsor natin ngayon. Kung saan si Best Friend Ren. Yan, sponsor ni Ren.
Nandito pa rin tayo sa ating tambayang may programa,
TTPM Act,
our advocacy channel.
Oh, napabangoy kape?
Napabangoy kape?
May kape pa ba kayo?
Tuloy na natin ang Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Ituloy na natin ang Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Coffee with BesfrenTofi and me.
Coffee with BesfrenTofi with me.
Padayon sa tapangapi. Naapa si BesfrenTofi, oh. BesfrenTofi, hello!
Interesting by being interested. Ang loaded naman ng question mo, sir. This is also something that you see everywhere in the world. The moment you're away from your home country, that's where you you want more of your home country, di ba? Medyo nami-miss natin ang pagkain, nami-miss natin yung mentality, and then we gravitate towards something that will, you know, keep us remembering our culture and our heritage. At doon ako napadpad sa pagtuturo ng Tagalog. And I think if you have that, if you can show people, okay, you speak, but let me show you why it is so beautiful, doon nila ma-appreciate.
Nandito pa rin tayo sa ating tambayan, may programa TTPM Act, our advocacy channel. May kape pa ba kayo? Ituloy na natin ang coffee with BesfrenTofi, with Ren, and me.
I think I'm calling out like companies that want to jump on board investing in the Philippine science fiction. I think TTPM will be a fantastic place to do that. And then in terms of product placement, that sort of thing. I mean, we can include your logos and all that in the creation of the film to give awareness that you guys are actually backing us.
Yes.
So like, and also with regards to the film, if we do make some money like from the film, we want to reinvest it into TTPM because it's the show that supported us. So we don't mind like the studio, giving a little back, like to assist others. Pero what we need is a full support of I'm calling the Philippines, man, the Filipinos.
Yes.
You gotta back us, man.
Sugod,
Because,
mga kapatid.
this is it. This is
Mga
it.
kababayan.
We need your help, like and that help's gonna come in like your liking our post, liking TTPM's post about Philippine science fiction, about
Sci-fi,
about what Brian and I are about to do, like any post that TTPM does about like like Fate of a Distant Future. If we can get like 100 million likes on that, that's the kind of stuff that studios look at. So we need to show the world that this is backed by the entire country. But Brian and I are serious. I mean, he's already making moves in the Philippine sci-fi. So like anything that he does, like it, like support him, like shout out.
Yes.
And I'm calling out 110 million Filipinos that's listening, that potentially listening to this. This is what we need. Okay, we're not lying to you. We're not jerking you or any. This is it, man. You want a good movie?
This is it.
We're gonna give it to you.
Right. There you have it.
Perfectly said.
From the master writer, Renato Tranquilino, mga best friend. Yan, ito lang ang ating tambayan na tinatawag, pero ito na rin ang ating tahanan.
Yes. Nice.
Tandaan nyo mga best friend, ha? A good friendship starts with a cup of coffee. Once again, I'm your BesfrenTofi. Dito lang po sa TTPM Act. Coffee with BesfrenTofi. See you next time!